Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be my Japanese GP review. Now, this race was pretty cool, really good at some points. I think it was entertaining, not as good as previous years. So it's been an interesting race. Verstappen dominated, of course, and the rest of the field that had done actually a very good job. So yeah, McLaren look like they're back on the podium places, and they look good. So Max is probably going to win the championship in the next race, while Red Bull just won the championship at this race. So yeah, let's get into my driver ranking from 20th to 1st. Please excuse my hair, it's a really big mess. I'm not winning at all with this hair. Yeah, I'm like Perez, I can't win. Okay. So let's get into it. 20th and last place is going to be Logan Sargent. He just had a bad race all weekend. Crashed out in qualifying, then crashed into Bottas or Magnussen in the race, and then he just retired because of the damage. So bad. Williams should really consider to replace Logan Sargent with Liam Lawson. P19 is going to be Sergio Perez. Almost the same as Sargent, was quite off Verstappen in the qualifying, and then in the race he just played bumper cars, did so many mistakes trying to block the McLaren of Norris, and it's just bad. It hurts my brain to think about the problem Red Bull have with the driver market, with they have 3 good drivers and then they have Perez and they just keep Perez and they don't want to sign Liam Lawson or put someone in the big team. It really irritates me. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it now. P18 is going to be Guan Yu Zhou. At a very quiet race, I think he was out qualified by Bottas by a decent margin, and then the race was just a quiet race, just made up places like when everybody failed to finish. So it was just a quiet race. It wasn't a bad race. This is actually a very close rankings from, like, I think from P16 or 15 is like a decent races. Only Sergeant Perez had bad races. So yeah, so I had a decent race. P17 is going to be Nico Hulkenberg. Got out qualified by his teammate again, and I think he finished below his teammate also. So Magnussen just had to edge this race, and yeah, nothing else I can say. Just the pace of the horse in the race is just awful. I don't understand it. So yeah, P16 is going to be Lance Stroll. His first time not being last on my rankings for a while. Yeah, I had a decent race. Qualifying was decent enough, and then the race he actually did nothing wrong. His car just broke. So that's all I can say. Decent enough, not too bad. Yeah. P15 is going to be George Russell. Now George didn't have a bad race. It was just the rest of the people just had a better race, in my opinion. I think I can remember who out qualified who now that I think about it. But in the race, Russell didn't have the pace, and the one stop didn't work out as much. I know he and his team had a big fight. So yeah, but not the best race for George Russell compared to the races he had as thus far. So yeah, P14 is going to be Valtteri Bottas. Now he had a decent qualifying, out qualifying his teammate with a margin and a half. And then in the race he was heated by Perez, so we wouldn't know how good of a race he would have had, but that's just all I can say. So I'm just going to go to the next person. P13 is going to be Carlos Sainz. Now Carlos had a decent race and decent qualifying. Leclerc was just faster than him the whole weekend, and that's fine. But he made up good enough places. He and Hamilton fought to the end. Hamilton had the better hand at that moment. And yeah, Sainz coming from the victory, he had a decent race. P12 is going to be Alexander Albon. Now Alex did have actually a good qualifying, but then bug. And then the race just went off the rails for him, got damaged from the start. I'm not very sure whose fault that is or if it was a racing incident. But yeah, that's why I couldn't take as much away from the race, but his qualifying was decent enough. P11 is going to be Yuki Tsunoda. He had a very good qualifying. Out-qualified his teammate by more than 0.2 seconds, by 2/10, and that's good for me. You should out-qualify your teammate if he's a rookie by 2/10, and he did that, so he had actually good qualifying. But then the race came, and Lawson pulled down his pants at the beginning, and Yuki struggled to catch him, but then AlphaTauri gave him the better strategy, and he finished ahead. And then Lawson got the same strategy, and then Lawson got ahead, but the pace was very equal, and at the moment Tsunoda should have the better pace because he has a rookie teammate, so that's why he's below Lawson. But still a good enough race. I think he had a bad few weekends, the couple of last races. Sorry for my English. P10 is going to be Esteban Ocon. Didn't have the pace of his teammate the whole weekend. Was with a decent margin out-qualified by his teammate Pierre Gasly, with the numbers, not the positions. And then in the race, I think Gasly should have been ahead of him, but the weird Alpine stuff that happened there with this switch of the position, even though Gasly was almost 2.8 seconds ahead, and at the last corner he should have given his place back. It's weird. And if Gasly would have ended before him, he would have overtaken Stroll in the driver's standing. So I'm very confused with the Alpine strategy. But yeah, Ocon was just not as quick as his teammate. P9 is going to be Kevin Magnussen. Now he had his hand over Hulkenberg, and yes, he actually had a decent race, and I think he should be amended for that. And yeah, I think he's slowly getting better as time goes on. P8 is going to be Fernando Alonso. He had a decent qualifying and a decent race, nothing too special. He did what he could. He was ahead of both Mercedes at one point, but the Aston Martin wasn't as quick as it is usually, so that's probably why. But he did what he could do. So yeah, P8. P7 is going to be Liam Lawson. He got out qualified by his teammate, but he still finished P11. Started P11 and then finished P11, which is very good for the track they are on. There was faster cars behind, and he beat his teammate in the race. That is the important thing. So yeah, that is why he is going to be P7. It's really sad. I don't think it is confirmed if he will be racing Qatar at the Qatar Grand Prix or not. I'm not sure yet, but I hope we see him there. P6 is going to be Lando Norris. Piastri did a very good qualifying and out-qualified Norris by a big margin. Actually, if you go back to the timing sheets, the gap was quite big. And then, yeah, in the race, I think he was much faster than him. And yeah, he had a very good race, finishing P2. Nothing he could do against Verstappen. He did what he did. He did what he could. So yeah, that's all he could have done, I think. But he's still very good. The qualifying was only the downside. P5 is going to be Lewis Hamilton. Like I said on Russell, I can't remember who finished ahead in the qualifying. Yeah, I can't remember at the top of my head, but he had a very decent race, finishing P5. So that was pretty good. He and his teammate battled it a little bit, and I think too aggressive, if you ask me. A little bit of tension would be good for Mercedes. For us, the fans, for a little bit of drama. But yeah. P4 is going to be Oscar Piastri. He had awesome qualifying. I was not expecting him to be P2. And then he had an awesome race. A very good race for a rookie. Like I said, Piastri wasn't as fast as Norris, but still he was fast enough to keep the P3, get his first podium, and that's all he needed. That was very good. P3 is going to be Charles Leclerc. After a few disappointing races, Charles Leclerc pushed it a little bit at Suzuka. He had a very good qualifying and I think a very solid race, finishing P4. probably best of the rest. Well, if you finish behind Red Bull, I think, but still, it was a very good race, I think. And Leclerc showed why he can still be better than Sainz, but Sainz just has the upper hand at the moment, and I think Leclerc is going to show that he has more in him. P2 is going to be Pierre Gasly. He crashed out in one of the pre-practices, missed out, and FP3 didn't have so much running, and he demolished his teammate in the gap in Q2. I think it was the second largest gap of everybody, and he didn't have as much practice as his teammate. And in the race, he had actually a very good race. I think he started P12. He should have ended in P9, but like I said, with the Ocon thing, it was very confusing. But yeah, actually had a very decent race, and yeah, that's all I can say about Pierre Gasly. And number one, of course, is going to be Verstappen. He had a 10 out of 10 perfect, solid week. His qualifying was something else. His race pace was just scary. His fastest lap was more than a second faster than anybody else's fastest lap. That is just insane. He took Singapore seriously, and he just demolished everybody in Japan. So yeah, he single-handedly took the Constructors' Championship for Red Bull. Perez, I don't know what he does anymore. So yeah, that's all I can say. Let's quickly go through my F1 Fantasy. If you want to skip this part to go to the predictions, you can. I had a decent F1 Fantasy. I'm a little bit salty. I used my multiplier by 3. Perez gave me -11. I'm so salty. Leclerc gave me 22 points. Sainz gave me 36. He was my multiplier by 2. Albon gave me -15 points. Not his own fault. Norris gave me 93 points with the multiplier by 3. Aston Martin gave me 7. And McLaren gave me 66. So yeah. And then it's going to be the Japanese predictions. My good drive was Lawson. That was correct. My bad drive was Alonso. That is incorrect. I think Alonso had a bad race, but not as bad. Not actually a bad race, he had the average race. My top 5 was Perez, Russell, Norris, Hamilton, Verstappen. Only Verstappen was correct. And my wild prediction was Hulkenberg will score some points, and I was so wrong. I only got 3 out of 9 correct. And yeah, let's go to the Qatar predictions. Now it's going to be a sprint race and a sprint weekend, so there's more predictions to make. The last time we were at Qatar, it was in 2021, and I'm excited to go back here with the F1. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really solid race. So yeah, let's get into it. My good drive is going to be AlphaTauri. I believe AlphaTauri will be faster here. Probably I'm just running on hopes and dreams at the moment. So I think AlphaTauri will be good. Yeah, let's see. Probably some points. Let's hope. My bad drive is going to be Lance Stroll. I don't need to talk about that a lot. My pole is going to be Verstappen. My sprint pole is going to be Verstappen. My sprint winner is going to be Verstappen. My top 5 is going to be 5th place Sainz, 4th place Hamilton, 3rd place Alonso, 2nd place Perez, and 1st place Verstappen. And my wild prediction is both Alfa Romeos are going to be out in Q1. Now that was a very short Japanese GP review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you enjoy this kinds of videos, like and subscribe. I'm working very hard on my alternate reality F1 series. You'll see when it gets out. And one of my future videos is going to be what if there was 3 drivers per team. That will be coming out probably in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to take a vacation this weekend, so I'll be back after that. But yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend without the F1. And yeah, thank you for everything. Cheers.